Hey, what's going on? So we're back. I'm in the shop now. Jason's back here working.
As you can see, we have the entire shop foamed, but now we're gonna do the flooring. We're gonna do the epoxy flooring. We're gonna do the same color as the other shop, which is gray, but we have to get it cleaned up. That's what Jason's doing right now. We went and hit it with the buffing machine, with a scrubbing wheel, and then we went and vacuumed it all up. But there was a lot of mud in here, and that's where those streak marks are from. We're just gonna wet it and squeegee it out, try to get all that stuff, all that mud out of here.
So we have to etch the concrete. You can grind it, or you can etch it with acid. Either one works. I prefer grinding, but in our case, it's faster if we just acid etch it. So before we acid etch, we have to clean the floor, make sure there's nothing on the surface to make sure that we get a nice consistent acid etch. And that's what we're doing right now. After this, we're gonna acid etch, then we have to neutralize the acid, and then we have to clean up the neutralizing agent. So it has to be super clean and dry. So we have to do all this today so that we can do the epoxy tomorrow. Now, another challenge that we have is no doors.
That is obviously a problem because, like I said, we have to keep it clean and dry, but there's this big hole in the wall here and back there.
What we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to put plastic over this opening, this one and the one in the back, but it's also windy, so it's gonna be a challenge to keep the plastic on the wall. Anyway, that's some of the things we have to deal with.
You guys have seen Jason before, and he keeps wondering when we're gonna go to the range. Well, he's not ready yet. I'm doing the Mr. Miyagi thing, wax on, wax off. This is preparing him for going to the range. I mean, we have to do to him, it looks like we're doing flooring. I mean, that's what anybody would think, but we're not. I am preparing him for what's to come. He's just not ready yet. You're just not ready yet, Jason, but you will be. So yeah, squeegee on, squeegee off, and then we're gonna be roll on, roll off. Trust me, this is only to get you ready.
I used this yesterday. What I used it for was to make sure that my anchor systems were evenly spaced apart.
Show me the tape. So he's using a metric tape measure. He's using mils instead of MOA.
I'm bilingual.
We are ready to start putting the first coat down on this building. But remember, we have no overhead doors. So we had to put plastic up. And it was really windy yesterday, so we fought it and fought it and fought it. So I came up with the idea of putting toe straps behind.
So that's what Jason was talking about, those anchor points. He put anchor points on the jam, and then we're able to put those toe straps. We did 3 of them, and that holds the plastic in place. And then I cut this hole here in the middle to
minimize the pressure, because I mean it was windy. So we did that, and that alleviated the problem.
We still have to put tape all around the perimeter, and it kind of keeps coming off, but we're on the home stretch now, right? Should work.
Home stretch.
So yeah, so far so good. It looks nice and clean in there, as you guys can see.
So now we're gonna go ahead and put down the first coat of epoxy. Then we're gonna wait for it to dry, and then we're gonna do a coat of Polyaspartic. One of the problems that we have is the shop that is right now the guys are working on or out of is
attached to this building. And we're gonna coat this one right here. The door is over there, and the guys are working in here. They're working in there.
So we told them, go to the restroom, do whatever you need to do, because once we coat, it's gonna be about 4 to 6 hours. They can't walk on it. So yeah, that's that's the plan. They're just gonna have to stay in there. If for whatever reason they needed to get out, of course there's the window we'll figure something out. All right, Jason.
Let's get to work.
Let's do it. I'm gonna show Jason how to do this. Right, Jason? You're
Right.
eager to learn?
Eager to
Here's
learn.
the mixer.
Eager to learn.
Did you hydrate?
I'm hydrated. I'm ready to go.
All right. We have a bucket, clean buckets.
Do not try to save a bucket and try to use a dirty bucket. It's gonna bite you. Just go get a new bucket. It's $5. This is a water-based. The first coat's water-based. So we're probably not gonna use a respirator. The second coat is solvent-based, so definitely gonna need a respirator for that. That's the first coat. Now we're gonna wait for it to dry, and then we're gonna do the second coat, and then the door people come tomorrow, so we're time-wise, we're barely gonna make it.
Isn't that right?
That's
That's assuming nothing goes wrong now.
a big assumption. We'll see how it goes.
It is, so anyway, we gotta put one more coat down, and then door guys come in the morning. But we gotta stay off of that for at least 8 hours before we can walk on it, so I'm telling you, by the time the door people get here, it's gonna be just barely enough time. But we're standing here, and then Jason noticed something.
Which is this right here. The second coat is also supposed to be colored, but that's what it says on there. So of course we looked.
We took out the stuff and looked at the can themselves, and sure enough, they say clear. So we called the supply house, and I said, hey, I thought these both had color, because I want, if you only do one color, one coat, it doesn't get good coverage, especially the first coat, because it gets sucked into the concrete. The second coat is what gives you the consistency in the color. So anyway, I called them up. I said, hey, I thought this was supposed to be colored. That's what I wanted. And they said, oh yeah, but you need some color packs to put in there. You didn't give me the color packs. So I gotta run to town and get some color packs. That's gonna take me about 2 hours round trip. Luckily, we caught it now. And I have at least that long before this is ready to, to put another coat down. But I'm glad Jason saw that. Would have been not good. So as you can see behind me, the overhead doors have been installed. Like I told you, I couldn't get any windows for this building. They're 6 months backlog. So I just went ahead and put windows on the doors. So that's gonna give us some light. As you guys know, we put down one coat of epoxy. And today we're gonna do the second coat. However, it is 40 degrees this morning. Now that is not crazy deadly weather. The problem is that in order to put down that epoxy, it has to be 60 degrees or warmer. Obviously it's 40 degrees, so we're gonna have to do something about that. However, the shop is insulated and so are the doors. So let's go see what it reads inside the building. We came inside the building and Jason has a Kestrel dongle, whatever they call that thing. We put it in the building and it was 61 degrees, okay? Now that's borderline, and which is great because it's morning, so it's only gonna get warmer during the day. However, we need to keep it that warm or warmer to ensure that the epoxy is completely dry by tomorrow morning, because we have more crews coming in here.
We opened the door to the other building, and we set up a propane heater, which is what Jason was working on. And we're gonna blow the heat this way, and that's how
We're going to make sure that this thing stays at least 61 degrees or warmer. I can already feel the heat right here, so should not be a problem. Now the other thing is,
because the door crew showed up yesterday, the epoxy, the first coat that we put down, is more than 24 hours old. What that means is we are decreasing the adhesion rate. So what we need to do at this point, number one, clean it up, but number two, we need to scuff it up. So we're going to be using 120 grit sanding screens, because we need to well, that's 100 grit sanding screens. We're going to scuff up the whole floor, clean it up. At that point, we can put down the second coat.
if you don't scuff it up, you run the risk of the second coat or the top coat not sticking to the first coat, and then of course it's going to cost the lamination.
It's already at 72 degrees in here. Great. Also, the humidity level needs to be below 60, 70, below 70. So we're at 45. So that's perfect. But this right here is what we were looking at. It was 61 earlier. It's already 72.
So it's definitely working.
See, what we have here is we captured in the wild an actual boss man working. I'm just giving some commentary. Just a little commentary.
Oh,
So we have very low lighting in here. Obviously, we don't have any lights yet. So Jason pulled out his flashlight, stuck it to his cap, and good to go. Anyway, I'm gonna go get some lights. I'll be right back. All right, so we got the floor all scuffed up with the sanding screens, and now we're just gonna vacuum up all the dust. We obviously don't want any moisture in here, and the other option would be to simply open the door and take a leaf blower and blow everything out. However, that creates a cloud of dust that takes a while to settle down. So if you use a leaf blower, it's going to seem clean, but a lot of it's going to be in the air. And after you put down your epoxy, it's simply going to fall on top of the epoxy. So you don't want to use a leaf blower. We brought in all the product. We brought it in here to start getting it acclimated because it was outside. So you obviously don't want it to be 40 degrees because that's going to slow everything down. So we have it in here warming up. We have all the supplies. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up right here. And we're going to start working from there. This way, when we get to here, we're just going to work our way out the door and be done.
So anyway, I'm hoping it's ready by tomorrow morning. That's all we can do. So it's polyaspartic, it's a much tougher top coat, but it dries a lot faster, which in my case, right now, it's welcome because we have crews coming in tomorrow, which means in about 18 hours, there's gonna be people here. So I need that thing ready to be walked on. Thanks to Jason.
He's having to climb through the window. You guys didn't see that. But guess whose turn it is now?
It's my turn to go through that window. Anyway, thank you. Keep them centered.
He thinks he turned the camera on.
Hey, what did you...
We all did it. You can do it.
You lead the way. Lead the way. Show us how it's done, boss. Oh, see?
Really?
Cheating. Cheating.
I did it. Jason did
It's
it.
not cheating, it's just being smart.
Old. That's not how you get out of the window.
Huh? Ta-da!
I guess they don't use doors here in Texas.
And I